What is up? This is your LA in a minute. And this week marks the 60th anniversary of the Watts Riots, also known as the Watts Rebellion or the Watts Uprising. The six-day event was a historic flashpoint fueled by decades of racial and economic disparities and marked a crucial moment in the struggle for civil rights and urban justice in Los Angeles and beyond. Let's get into it. On the night of August 11th, 1965, Marquette Fry, a 21-year-old black man, was pulled over by California Highway Patrol Officer Lee Minikis near 116th Street and Avalon Boulevard. Suspected of driving under the influence, Fry failed a sobriety test, but the situation escalated when Marquette's brother Ronald ran to their home and returned with their mother, Rena Price. She scolded Marquette in the middle of the street for driving drunk, at which point it's alleged that he turned his anger towards officers. At that point, tensions rose quickly and a crowd gathered. Words turned to shoving, and police tried to subdue Fry with batons. Rumors began to fly, including one that officers had kicked a pregnant woman. And in a community already weary of police harassment, that was the spark in a tinderbox. Within hours, angry onlookers spilled into the streets, hurling items at officers. And by the second day, full-scale unrest had gripped Watts. Families watched as the neighborhood transformed into a battleground. For 6 days and nights, flames lit up the skyline. The city called in 2,300 California National Guardsmen to join the police, and LA Police Chief William Parker compared controlling the riots to fighting a war. Stores were looted, often white-owned businesses accused of gouging prices and paying low wages in the community. Streets filled with the sounds of shouting, sirens, and glass shattering. The unrest was a fierce confrontation between residents and authorities. The riots not only became headline news locally, but they transfixed the national audience. This was an actual battleground inside of one of America's proudest cities. And by the time order was restored on August 16th, the toll was staggering. 34 people dead, more than 1,000 injured, nearly 4,000 arrested, and more than $40 million in damage. Hundreds of buildings had been burned or reduced to rubble. And though the numbers told one story, the deeper story had been building for decades. Watts was a community hemmed in by discriminatory housing policies, limited job opportunities, underfunded schools, and often hostile policing. A California state commission even concluded that the riots were not just an outburst of violence, but an expression of deep frustration from a community pushed to its limits. Images of the riots truly shook the nation. They shattered the image of Los Angeles as a peaceful and integrated city and forced leaders to confront the same racial and economic injustices that had fueled unrest in other American cities. And even as new social programs were introduced, many of the neighborhood's fundamental problems, poverty, unemployment, and strained police relations, still persisted. The events in 1965 were triggered by one arrest, but they were born by decades of neglect. And their legacy continues to shape Los Angeles, the civil rights movement, and America's ongoing struggle to build truly equal communities. All right, LA, it's been a minute.